socially bullied sexual minorities.
Breaking news. This is Kang from SBS. Tonight we're getting a closer look at something that has been getting a lot of attention recently. The subject of being transgender.
Jennifer Long lives with her pet macaw in a home in New Jersey.
Hello?
She was born a man, but has lived as a woman for 7 years. She takes hormones to make her body more feminine, has had electrolysis to remove her facial hair, and dresses in women's clothes. Jennifer recently changed the gender on her identity cards. Now she's looking for her first job as a woman.
You know, I don't bring up the issue of transgender. It's a non, as far as I'm concerned, it's a non-issue.
Jennifer has extensive experience in the U.S. military, where she served as a man. She was a combat advisor in Afghanistan and a senior officer in Iraq. She also has years of sales experience and a bachelor's degree in finance.
For transgenders, those who identify and express themselves as the opposite gender of they were born with, the job market is really dire. Experts say roughly 50% of transgenders face discrimination when seeking the employment. There are more news we have prepared regarding this issue. Please do introduce them. Reporters Wong.
Recently, on September 26th, 2 Thai trans women were denied entry to the city by immigration officials for no reason, which has provoked criticism from local rights groups. They were asked by an officer if they had been cut, a clear violation of their basic rights to privacy. Another trans woman was kept with male inmates and treated as a man while being detained for drug offenses, leaving her vulnerable to sexual assaults and verbal harassment. The Correctional Services Department told the court that it was inappropriate, while not ideal, to put her in a male facility for the protection of female inmates. In a Sunday afternoon of May, a trans woman was stopped by 2 police officers in the IFC mall and interrogated for using the women's toilet. She was forced to let them search her bag as well as her mobile phone, and was asked whether she had done genital surgery. This traumatic experience led her to a feeling of fear, uncertainty, and embarrassment, which again reflects how trans women are deprived of respect and protection.
Before going into details, our reporters have interviewed several people with different ethnicity to investigate on how people generally think and how much they know about transsexuals and transgenders.
Hi, do you know what transgender and transsexual are?
Yes, I think so.
Do you know what transgender and transsexual are?
Transgender and transsexual?
Yeah.
No, I have no idea.
Do you know what transgender and transsexual are?
So, I would like to ask, do you know what is transsexual and transgender?
Kind of.
Do you know what transgender and transsexuals are?
Yes, I guess.
I heard the word transgender, but I don't know the detail about it.
Do you know what is transgender or transsexual?
What's the difference between transgender and transsexual?
The differences and the definitions.
To be honest, I've never heard the term transsexual.
Then do you know the difference between gender and sexuality?
No. Whereas transsexual would be somebody who has sex change. I don't know.
And do you know the difference between the gender and sexuality?
It's just basically not the same thing.
Transgender is when someone, and transsexuality is not really.
Transgender? Well, I know that transsexual is something that involves the surgery for the biological organism, and it's pretty tough. In addition to that, you have to change your lifestyle, like the way you dress out, the way you talk, like everything has to be changed. I think it's tough.
Then do you know how difficult it is to become transsexuals or transgenders? Or do you have any friends to change their sex?
I didn't experience it.
Have you heard of any prejudice or discrimination against this transsexual or transgender people?
I have heard about it, but I haven't witnessed it myself. And there's like personally, and I can't really give you like an example of one, except I do know it's out there.
Or do you have any plans to change their sex?
I don't think it's too difficult to change. I don't think it's too difficult to become a transsexual.
Do you know any difficulties of becoming transsexual or transgender?
Me personally, no. I've never gone through something like that.
Yes. The interviews conducted with people from different ethnic backgrounds demonstrate how people in general are not familiar with the differences between transsexuals and transgenders. It is quite common to see that the interviewees were not really active to completely reveal their thoughts on this topic, especially from those Southern Asian countries. For most cases, interviewees did not set any prejudice towards transsexuals and transgender, but all agreed that the society still does not easily accept these sexual minorities. Now, referring to our additional material, we will further investigate on transgenders and transsexuals.
Transsexuals refer to those people who permanently change their genitals to become the gender opposite to their assigned birth, while transgenders refer to those people whose identity, expression, behavior, or general sense of self does not conform to what is usually associated with the sex they were born. With some communities, they are having their own word, understanding each other. Trans people face various difficulties. Fortunately, there are some organizations that would help them to fight through challenges and simultaneously educating the society about the LGBT community and aid them integrate into the society. Examples of such allies in Hong Kong are Rainbow of Hong Kong, Transgender Resource Center, Pink Alliance, and Pink Season.
In spite of the help from the above organizations, trans people still face multiple difficulties. The greatest difficulty they face is being discriminated. To prevent being alienated by mainstream society, they hide their true self. It takes a lot of courage and support to come out of the closet. After coming out, apart from still facing discrimination, poverty, homelessness, and medical transition are some other common obstacles. According to Trans-Equality's 2009 National Transgender Discrimination Survey, 33 of the 50 states have no state-level gender identity protection for employment, causing 13% of trans people unemployed, compared to 70% for straight people, forcing 15% of trans people to live on less than 10,000 USD per year. This phenomenon is universal and deprives many transgender of their ability to rent a flat or even to support themselves. This is supported by the statistics of the same survey, where 19% of transgenders are denied of housing, while another 11% used to have a shelter. Another major difficulty is their medical transition. Medical transition is a complicated process. In addition to the high surgical risks, much courage is needed to decide on undergoing the survey. Not to mention they have to endure other people's critical opinions and the enormous financial cost of the process.
Transsexuals, on the other hand, face slightly different problems. Difficulties related to sexual transition are faced by all transsexuals: hormonal therapy, sexual reassignment, surgery, facial, top and bottom surgeries, to name a few. Surgical risks include chronic pain, inflammation, nausea, seroma, and more depending on the health condition of individuals, while hormone therapies can lead to headaches, epilepsy, sleep deprivation, mood swings, and more. creating huge physical and psychological burdens on transsexuals. Here, a trans woman explains how difficult it was to go through the sex reassignment process.
I never thought I would have such a hard time recovering. I thought, I have so much people supporting me, I've never had any problems before, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna wake up from the surgery and recover normally like everyone else. But that did not happen. I had the toughest time at recovering, ever. I woke up, I wasn't feeling very well. All the nurses were very, very worried about me. They kept changing my gauzes down there because I kept bleeding and bleeding. They told me that I had internal bleeding and they were very worried about me. They had to delay my recovery. I was in so much pain to the point where I had to question myself. And for a moment, I asked myself, what am I doing to myself? Why am I going through this? Did I make a mistake? And at that point, I was regretting my surgery because of how badly I was in pain. And I don't think anyone will understand what I went through, except my roommate. I'm 21. I flew over to Montreal by myself and had this major surgery done. I'm not sitting here complaining to you guys. I know a lot of people would love the surgery, but I'm just telling you guys the truth. When it comes down to it, people make it sound so easy, but it is so hard.
In addition, they also face major hindrance against legal applications like identity cards, passports, and birth certificates, and are denied of same-sex marriage and adoption in many places. Having so many daily struggles, trans people are still being discriminated against and alienated, largely due to traditional mindsets and religious beliefs instead of being understood and given support.
Although there are more positive opinions and supporting voices for the trans community by younger generations nowadays, countless barriers of multiple aspects still exist in the society, preventing trans people from integrating into the mainstream society. We hope our report can give everyone an insight into the trans community, though learning about them can truly understand and accept them, making Hong Kong a fairer, more open and tolerant society.